Alright, y'all, we back with another reaction. Now, if y'all know, we're live every day on Twitch. We do gameplays, we do reactions.
6 billion visits.
We got most disturbing mysteries, so about ready
but
users.
this case is worse than anything I've seen before.
They arrested a 37-year-old man from Roy. He faces charges.
Reddit users immediately started speculating as to what the odd scene depicts. So
now it's kind of crazy that nowadays Reddit and the internet
criminal cases
does better police work than the actual
there
police.
There were no clues, witnesses, or suspects. Then people
let's
on
see,
Reddit
apparently
started
Reddit
thinking,
solved
and
all these
sometimes the
mysteries.
truth was darker than anyone thought. These are the most disturbing mysteries solved by Reddit users. We'll begin with the less disturbing ones and work our way to the worst. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you guys subscribe because it allows us to keep pushing forward, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Let's get to it, man.
I'm Visual Venture and you are awesome. The mystery of the evil farm. For years, gamers on Reddit searched for a missing game. Many people remembered playing it, but no one remembered its name. It became one of Reddit's biggest unsolved gaming mysteries, and one day the truth finally came out, and the answer shocked everyone. The mystery began on a subreddit called Tip of My Joystick. It's a place where people describe games they can't remember. Then other users help them identify the game. In April 2016, a user named Sparta213 made a post. He said he was searching for a disturbing game set on a farm. In the game, the main character lived with his wife. One day, they got into a fight. Things escalated, and in a moment of anger, the main character ended his wife. That's when the real gameplay began. Players were supposed to hide the body, run the farm, and keep the town from finding out. According to Sparta213, this was a real game. But he couldn't remember the game's title, so he wanted Reddit to help him find it. Redditors were curious. They searched through every farming game they could find.
Redditors jumped in, postulating that it could potentially be a Flash game, an old farming sim named Scapeland, or even a top-down RPG named Wild Season.
But Sparta213 ruled them all out. Everyone ran out of guesses. Months passed, then years, and the mystery just sat there. But one day, something changed. Other people started remembering the same game. 2 years later, a different user asked a very similar question. He said he was trying to find an old farming game. He described it as a game where you end your wife, and then you try and pretend you never ended her. And that was the whole game. Keep farming and make sure no one finds out you killed her. He believed he played it on his computer in 2006. Then he upgraded his PC and the game disappeared. Now he couldn't even remember the title. The details matched Sparta213's story exactly. Again, Reddit tried to find it. They guessed every farming game they could think of. And again, every guess was wrong.
Gleaner Heights? Moirai? Lakeview Cabin? Unfortunately, at least according to the OP, none of these are it.
Days later, another user claimed they remember playing the farming game too. Then another and another. Over the next few months, dozens remembered playing the same game. They remember the farm, the crime.
Bro, how are they all remembering it at the same time?
For some bizarre reason, none of them could remember the title.
And they don't know the name.
Redditors were convinced the game was real. There were too many matching memories, but no one could find a single copy. What began as a normal search was now a full investigation.
It could have been made behind some dark magic spell or something.
They called it That Evil Farming Game. Its mission was simple. Identify
because no way you're telling me all these millions of people
users
know the game,
they
just don't remember the name.
Anyone remembered. They checked old game
like they know exactly what happened in the game, they remember the game.
Discord, and every platform they could. They contacted indie developers, some even searched the dark web. The mystery consumed them. One user spent 14 hours a day chasing leads, but no matter how hard they looked, the game never showed up. Just when everyone was about to give up, someone found a shocking clue, and the entire mystery unraveled. In June 2021, a user named PM Me Your Ears found an old live stream. The video was recorded long before the mystery game was ever mentioned on Reddit. This was an important piece of information. In the stream, the host jokingly made up a game.
Midway in the game, you have an argument with your wife and you accidentally kill her. You gotta manage your farm, you know, raise your chickens and milk the cows. You also gotta hide the body from the cops sometimes.
The details were identical to the missing farm game. PM Me Your Ears thought the live stream had to be connected, so he shared it with Sparta213 and asked if he knew the streamer. Remember, Sparta213 was the first to mention the farming game on Reddit. Sparta took one look and knew right away. He used to fall asleep watching that exact streamer years ago. And the truth about the game was finally clear. Sparta imagined the entire game.
What a fucking
one night
idiot,
in
bro.
2016, he watched that live stream.
Damn.
The streamer joked about making a game about a farm farmer who tries to get away with ending
Are you
his life.
serious?
It was
What
just
about all
a
the
joke.
other people
Sparta
that
eventually fell
said they
asleep.
remember
The
the
next
game?
morning, he kept thinking about a farming game with a murder plot. Except he believed it was a real game that he used to play. His mind took the streamer's joke and treated it like a real memory. So he asked Reddit to help him find the game.
Yeah,
And
this
for the
dude
next
needs help.
5 years, thousands scrambled to find a game that did not exist.
Bro,
Just like
bro,
that, the
someone
mystery
literally
was solved.
spent 14 hours a day searching for this. You're telling me this dude just made it up in his head?
But one question remained. If the game didn't exist, why did so many other people...
Like, if that guy has that much
same
commitment to
fate?
find the game,
The
imagine what he'll
answer
do
was
to
the
this
Mandela effect.
Redditor that
It
made
happened
this shit
when
up.
people collectively
If I was him, bro, I'm
misremembered
hiring
events.
extra
In other
security
words,
for the
people
week.
saw others remembering
Never
the
know.
game, and they started imagining themselves
These
playing
Reddit
it
kids
too.
are
But
fucking
the mystery
crazy nowadays.
finally solved, the subreddit was abandoned. Today, the mystery is remembered as one of the biggest accidental hoaxes in internet history.
So all those
5
people
years
that came out later and
spread
said they remember the
across
game, they just made that
internet.
shit
And
up?
even after the truth came out, it's still out there. That's how the internet works.
What-
When
what's that
something's
called?
online,
Hive mind,
it never
isn't it?
really goes away. Your personal information works the same way. A
Or
few
just
years back, someone
retardation?
found my old personal details online and used them to threaten me. I tried deleting my online data myself, but hundreds of these websites had them, so I gave up. It's because these data broker websites make money by
Is this an
selling
ad?
your information to any... The mystery
Alright, there
of
was
the
just
Burger
crazy
King
eyes
man.
that just pops up,
On
alright?
August
Time jump, we
31st,
back, though, we back.
2004, a man woke up outside a Burger King
We
in
got the
Georgia.
mystery
He
of
was
what?
lying
Hold
on
on,
the
hold on,
ground
let's not-
next to
the mystery
a
of the Burger
dumpster.
King
He
man,
didn't
alright,
know
but-
how he got there, but that was only the
What
beginning
y'all got,
of his
man? Burger King or
problems. He had
McDonald's?
no ID and no money. He was covered in painful blisters.
Though it was still
I'm not gonna lie, in
his
Middle
skin
Eastern,
was
in
already
Middle
sunburned and
Eastern
blistered.
countries,
His body was covered
I'm
in
going
fire
Burger King, but in
ants.
the
The
West,
worst part was
give me
his
McDonald's.
mind. He couldn't remember anything about his life.
I have no idea how
But
I got
we can't
there.
eat from that place no more. There's a protest
Anything
going
about
on.
it. I had no memory of my name, my parents, relatives.
Burger King employees found him and called 911. Paramedics rushed him to
What
the
type of drug
hospital.
does this dude
Doctors
on?
diagnosed him with memory
Doesn't
loss
remember
brought
anyone?
about
He
by
got
trauma.
amnesia, maybe?
They had no idea what caused it.
Or maybe that
According-
disease from that
there
one
was
movie,
no
Memento.
evidence of recent
You just
physical
can't remember,
trauma
so you
to
gotta
the
write it
body
down.
or to his skull.
He looked like a healthy man in his middle 50s. When he left the hospital, he had nowhere to go. So he moved into a homeless shelter. He decided to choose a name for himself, Benjamin
Damn.
Kyle. Benjamin spelled with two
Imagine not
A's.
even remembering
Then he
your
began
name, bro.
searching for his real
Just not even
identity.
knowing
Benjamin
anyone
first went to the police.
that you
They
grew
ran
up
his
with,
fingerprints,
you know.
but nothing came up.
They cannot find
Saw,
my
like,
fingerprints
throughout
anywhere
your
in
life.
any database.
He turned
They
to
can't
TV
see his
stations.
fingerprints?
Reporters told his story and showed his face.
Alright, there
They
might
hoped
be
someone
something
would
darker
recognize him.
right here.
No one did.
Maybe his family never looked for him or wasn't
Could
looking
be a
for
time
him.
travel.
It just felt terrible.
For years, Benjamin searched.
But
He
I
visited
don't think time
schools
travel
and checked
exists.
old yearbooks.
'Cause time
He
doesn't
looked through
exist, you know
government
what I mean?
records.
That's
There was
a
no
deeper
record
topic
of
for
his
later.
existence. It was like he was ghost.
For all practical intents and purposes, I don't exist.
Benjamin became the
Damn.
first U.S. citizen to be listed as missing, despite his whereabouts being
That's
known.
a sad story.
Life
right
only
here.
got
Let's go.
harder.
Without an ID or social security number, there's no option to get a job.
I don't get it. He just woke
government
up one day and
benefits,
just forgot
and
everything.
really, there's no options for Benjamin to improve his quality of life.
By 2012, Benjamin had been searching for 8 years. He had no money, no job, and no idea who he was. Journalists even picked up the story. Benjamin's face and story spread everywhere.
Newspaper headlines to
They gotta make a
talk show
documentary about
appearances,
this
even
one.
a documentary. Benjamin's
Oh, no,
story
they did.
sparked
Nice.
a media frenzy, and still nobody knows who he is.
Just when he was about to give up, a friend gave him one more idea. Ask for help on Reddit. In late 2012, Benjamin posted his story on Reddit. He wrote,
Amnesiac.
I am Benjamin
Alright,
Kyle,
that
an
makes sense.
amnesiac who woke up
He
with
has
no
amnesia?
memories in 2004. Nobody knows who I am. Ask me
He just-
anything.
he just woke up
Thousands
knowing
saw his
nothing?
post, and it was flooded with comments. Reddit users asked about his life. Others asked what fragments he remembered. Many sent kind
Any
messages
books
and
or
encouragement.
shows you
Within
recall,
hours,
I've just seen
Benjamin's
them, and I'm
post
like, well, how's that
reached
supposed to
Reddit's
happen?
front page. And that Reddit post reached a woman named Cece Moore. Cece was an expert in DNA and genetics, and she believed she could use Benjamin's DNA to identify his family. She contacted
they said
him
they
and
couldn't find
offered
his
help. He
fingerprints
agreed.
anyway.
Cece collected
Which
his
is
DNA
damn near
sample.
impossible,
Then
by the way.
she
They
got
probably
to
made
work.
that
She
shit
ran
up for
his
the
DNA
documentary.
through family
I don't
history
believe that.
databases across the country. She worked for years until finally she found a connection. In 2015, Cece found a DNA match in Indiana. It was the breakthrough everyone hoped for. Benjamin traveled to Indiana. There, he finally found what he's been searching for.
Finally, Benjamin Kyle had an identity, he had a hometown, and he had 2 remaining brothers from his family. where he grew up.
Benjamin's real name was William Burgess Powell. He was born and raised in Indiana. In 1976, he left home for a new job. That's when he vanished. His family reported him missing, but he was never found.
What?
For nearly 30 years, he was gone without a trace, until the day he woke up outside that Burger King in 2004.
So this piece of shit abandoned his family?
New questions. Where did he go after 1976?
Or was it because
Why
of the
was he
amnesia?
missing for so long? How did he end up unconscious in Georgia? What happened that erased his memories? No one knows the answers, not even Benjamin.
So, you know, you really are a man with.
Nah, he got to be faking it, because look at this shit.
Very few.
He went on all these
But one thing
shows, they
finally
created all these
changed.
documentaries
Benjamin
about
found
him.
his family. He finally belonged somewhere again.
He found his
In late
family, but are they
2015,
even gonna
he
take him
moved
back?
in with his
Because this dude
family in
abandoned him.
Indiana. He
Unless
recovered
he had a
his
good
social
reason to
security
do so. I don't
details
know,
and
I
got
don't
a
know the full
job.
story.
He started rebuilding a normal life. As of 2025, Benjamin is still searching for the missing pieces of his story. But because of the attention he got from that Reddit post, he is no longer alone. This next chapter has
Yeah, he's probably
everything:
a
secret
millionaire,
agents,
though.
parallel
Just 'cause of the
universes,
documentary.
and government cover-ups. The mysterious man from another universe.
Alright,
The
that's
mystery of the
fucking
man
cap.
from Taured begins with a strange event
That is
in a
cap.
very ordinary place, an airport. In October 1954, a man
Y'all believe
arrived
in
at the
aliens?
Tokyo airport. When immigration officials checked his passport, they noticed something
I don't think
unusual.
aliens
The
exist, to
passport
be
said
honest.
he was from a country called
not a
Taured,
crazy
except
take.
Taured did not exist. At least the officers never heard of that country. But the traveler insisted Taured was real. To prove it, he showed them money from his country.
He also presented currency, banknotes issued by his homeland, which did not look in any way counterfeit.
Immigration officers still didn't believe him, so they gave him a chance to prove it.
They then placed a map of the world on the table in front of him and asked him to pinpoint the exact location of his country.
The man pointed to a region between France and Spain, but he was pointing at a country called Andorra, not Taured. The man looked confused. He claimed the map was wrong. He insisted that Taured should be right where Andorra was. No one knew what to think, so the immigration officers called the police. The man was detained. Police
Before
searched
parallel
his
universe.
documents and questioned
Maybe?
him. Then the story goes dark. This was way back in 1954. Record keeping wasn't great. The man's trail just disappeared from history, and that's when the real mystery begins. Newspapers nicknamed him the mystery man from Taured. Conspiracy theorists loved the story. They tried to guess who he was. Some said he was a spy. Others believed something more extreme.
Could be
The
a
theory
spy.
that's most
Could be a
popular
spy.
is that the man from Taured was actually from an alternative universe.
No.
Somehow,
That's probably
during
not the
his
case,
flight, he crossed over into this one.
Decades passed.
That's
The
gotta be
story
valid.
changed each time it was retold.
What are the
Facts were
chances,
twisted.
though, bro?
Rumors turned into evidence. Eventually, no one knew which part of the story was real. Then, around 2014, the story exploded again, this time on Reddit. Reddit users wanted to solve
You can't
the
time
mystery.
travel,
Who
man.
was this man from Taured?
Time
Where
is
did
all
he
about
actually come
perspective.
from? But finding the truth wasn't easy. The biggest challenge was that no one had the original source of the story.
Now, you
from
could maybe go back
1954. Only the exaggerated
in time
versions existed.
and
Redditors
give like a
dug
past
through
version of
archives
yourself,
searching for reports from the
a message or
1950s,
something, you know what
but
I
they
mean?
found nothing.
I
Then a
feel that's
Redditor
possible.
from Japan made a breakthrough.
To a
In
thought or
2020, he
something, you know
visited
what I
a
mean?
public
So that
library
deja
in
vu.
Tokyo. If the original story still existed anywhere, it would be there.
But
He checked
what this dude
Japanese
did,
newspapers from the
alternate universe and all
1950s.
that,
Then he found
think
something.
that's
He
true.
discovered a news article from 1959. It matched the Taured story, except the truth was very different. According to the newspaper, the mystery man was named John Allen Zegras. But
Oh, no,
John
he was a
wasn't
spy
from
for
Taured.
sure.
He was from the United States. John was actually a con man. He
Yup.
traveled the world scamming people
Piece
and
of shit.
running
Look at
before
this
he got
shit.
caught. To
Knew
protect
it.
his true identity, he used a fake passport
I
from
literally
a
knew it.
fake country. Surprisingly,
just tell.
it worked. He used that fake passport many times without being caught, until
How
he
did, bro,
arrived in Japan.
humanity
in
gotta be so
1954.
fucking dumb, bro.
Immigration officials spotted
That
the
this
fake
con
passport.
man
They alerted
escaped
police.
because he
John
told them he was from
arrested.
a
He was found
fucking
guilty for
alternate
fraud
dimension
and
or some shit.
violation of immigration laws.
He was sentenced to a year in prison. And that's how the legend of the man from Taured
A
got
year is
started.
too late,
Local
man. You gotta
newspapers
know
reported the case accurately. The news outlets outside Japan messed
You tell me
up
I
the
can go
story.
around
They
robbing people
exaggerated
and then
the
claiming I'm
details.
from an
Each
alternate
version
universe and
became
they're gonna
more
give me a
dramatic.
year?
Soon the
Sign
story
me
was
up.
no longer about a scammer, but a man from another universe. But the mystery was finally
So dumb.
solved. The man from Taured was nothing more than a scam artist who finally
Yo,
ran out of
knew
luck.
it. We called it.
Up next is
We
the
said we
most
said he was a
tragic
spy,
story on our
aka
list.
con man.
The hit and run mystery.
Hit and
Al
run mystery,
Rainwater
oh,
and
shit.
his wife Susan were married for 30 wonderful years. They were so close that they still held hands when they walked. But on August 9th, 2018, their
Soulmates?
picture-perfect life was destroyed.
It was an ad, that's why there's a
Susan
cut.
left
But
home
we
for
back.
her daily bike ride. She
Alright,
told
this is
Al
a
she
sad
would be
story, I'm
back in
thinking.
30 minutes. She never returned. Al went out to look for her. He found her bicycle tossed on the side of the road. The frame was twisted, the wheels were crushed. It looked like a crash. But Susan wasn't there. He found her a few yards away in a ditch. She wasn't moving. Susan was gone. Heartbroken, Al called 911. Troopers arrived and began to investigate. It didn't take long for them to understand the situation. Someone hit Susan with a vehicle and drove away.
A grandmother was out bicycling in Eatonville, and she was hit by a vehicle, dumped in a ditch.
The police was determined to find that driver and bring him to justice. But from the start, the case felt impossible. There were no cameras at the scene. There were also no witnesses. It felt like the driver vanished without a trace. Then officers spotted a single clue. They found a tiny piece of plastic at the scene. Police believed it snapped off the vehicle during the crash, but the piece was tiny. They couldn't tell what part of the car it came from. Without that answer, the case would go cold. The only way to find the hit-and-run driver was to identify that broken piece of plastic. So investigators tried something new. That evening, an officer posted a photo of the plastic piece online. He tweeted, "Troopers and detectives are still looking for a black vehicle involved in a tragic bicyclist fatality. If you know anything
now, this could be a dumb strategy because
please call the Washing
if
State
the
Patrol."
dude
No
just
one
reads
on
it,
Twitter
he can just
recognized
escape, you know
it.
what I
The
mean?
police were losing
Leave
hope,
the
and
city.
that's when Reddit came to the rescue. A Reddit user posted the picture to a
By the
group
time these
called
Reddit kids
What Is
figure it
This
out?
Thing? It's a community where people help each other identify weird or unknown objects. He told them the full story when he posted it. If they couldn't solve it, Susan would never get justice. The whole group was ready to help. Replies started pouring in.
Somebody picked it up and put it on Reddit, and that's when about 600 car enthusiasts and mechanics started to look at those pieces of vehicle and say what they think it might have been.
One person guessed it came from a car window. Another suggested the front bumper.
It's kind of impressive off a little piece
None
like
of
that.
them were reliable. Then a user named Greg's Candy shared a new idea. He said the piece came from a car's headlight. Lots of people agreed, but they still needed more details. Even if it was from a headlamp, they had to figure out the exact car model. The case hit another wall until a user showed up. This Reddit user, Jeff, worked as a vehicle inspector in Maryland. That meant he examined thousands of cars. The moment he saw the plastic piece, he knew what it was. He said it belonged to the headlamp of a 1988 Chevy Silverado. Reddit users checked product photos online. It was
they're
an
saying the
exact
moment he
match.
checked it?
Everyone upvoted the answer to the top of the thread. Reddit identified the make and model of the car. They also knew that the broken plastic came from the headlamp. Now they needed to find the specific vehicle. If they found the vehicle, they would find the driver. And only a few hours later, they did. A Reddit user spotted a 1980s Chevrolet truck with a broken headlight. The shape of the damage matched the plastic piece found at the scene. They called the sheriff immediately.
After that, officers got an anonymous tip describing damage on, get this, a 1986 Chevrolet K10 pickup truck.
Police rushed to the location. The truck belonged to 37-year-old Jeremy Simon. When officers questioned him, he confessed. On the morning of the crash, he was driving under the influence. He fell asleep.
Bro, I told you he was driving drunk.
Slamming into Susan. When he looked back, he saw a
What the fuck did I say, bro?
Panicked and
I
fled.
said don't
Jeremy
drive drunk,
pleaded
bro. I kept
guilty
saying
to
that.
all charges. He was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. When the case closed,
Bro,
the police
4.5.
publicly thanked the online community for their
So
help.
you could
Without
drive
Reddit,
drunk,
Susan Rainwater might never
kill
have
someone,
received
and
the
you're
justice
only getting
she
4.5
deserved.
years, bro?
In this next chapter, Redditors joined forces
fuck
to
is
track
that?
down a dangerous criminal.
Where I come from,
Mystery
that's
of
a
the
fucking
Dutch
10 life
crime scene.
sentence.
The story gets dark really fast. In April
That just pissed me
2013,
off.
a guy in the Netherlands was exploring Google Earth. He was zooming around his neighborhood when he saw what looked like a crime scene.
It's right here. I'm gonna get really close up into it.
It looked like someone was dumping a body in the river.
No
This is
way.
Unreal. I can't believe that. Satellite images
Dexter
actually
Morgan type
caught
shit.
this image of these.
On a
That's
dock
crazy.
near the water, a long red trail stretched across
How could
the
you
wood.
see that, though,
At
in
the
the
end
black
of
and
the
white?
trail lay a shape that looked like a body. Next to it stood a person. He took a screenshot of the scene
my
and sent
God.
it to the police, but the police didn't respond. No officers came to check the dock. No investigation began. The police obviously weren't taking him seriously, so he decided to ask Reddit for help. He posted the image with the title, "A Murder Near My House" on Google Maps. He also shared a link to the location. Redditors opened the link. Most of them saw the same frightening picture, a red trail, a body-shaped figure, and a person standing
red
right
trail.
beside it. People began sharing theories in the comments. One said it was an animal left after a hunt. That would explain the red trail. Another user measured the length of the shape on the dock.
yeah,
it
they
was
were
a
saying-
little
they were
over
saying
5 feet
the
long.
body-
That was much
it's like
closer
body
to a
length.
human body. Others
Yeah.
studied the standing figure. To some, it looked like two people, not one.
You can easily see that there are at least 3 subjects here in this crime.
I can't
two
see
of them
shit, but you
being
gotta change
the
it off the black and white.
Actual murder.
Come on, bro.
Hours passed, theories got darker, but there were still no clear answers. That was when a user named BennyBoy1337 took
This
a
dude got a
closer look,
Demogorgon
and he
profile
noticed
pic?
something everyone missed. To Benny Boy, the shapes didn't look human at all. They looked like a dog and its owner on the dock. He explained it this way: looks like a dog got out of the water and shook itself dry.
How
then
can you
walked
tell
off
that?
the dock while dripping water. That's why the wet wood
Nah, the
looked
cops
so
are.
much darker
Nah,
in
if this
color.
is true, the
Redditors
cops
read
are
that
right
and
to know
checked
this
the
is
image
Reddit
again.
idiot.
Suddenly, the entire photo looked completely different.
And the shot is actually of a dog that was wet and simply shook itself off at the end of
Nice,
the
man.
dock,
Let's just
causing
waste the time with the
redwood
cops, huh?
to look like bloodstains.
Someone even made a sketch to help others see it clearly. Still, some didn't believe it, so reporters went to the dock in person. They asked around and found the dog's owner. She explained what was really going on in the photo. Her dog loved jumping in and out of the lake. It must have run onto the dock while still wet right when
Dogs
Google
can
Earth
swim?
took that photo. That blood trail was just water dripping off the dog. The sunlight created shadows that made the dog look
Oh,
much
I
bigger.
see the
Those
dog
same
right
shadows
there,
made
actually.
the owner look like more than one person. Local police
I can't
later
see the owner. I see,
confirmed
like, a
why
telescope
they never
right there.
responded. Turns out they already knew about the Google Earth image, and they already confirmed that it wasn't a crime scene. The mystery was solved. That case is now
Nice.
remembered as the Dutch crime scene, even though nothing criminal
Absolute
happened at
idiot
all.
wasting fucking
This
police
next story
time.
is about a man who didn't
Alright,
feel
we got
safe
another
in his
story.
own home, so he asked Reddit for help. The
What?
mystery of the evil landlord.
Evil landlord?
On April 15th, 2015, a Reddit user named rbradbury1920 was panicking. That day, Bradbury noticed something strange on his desk. It was a post-it note with a list of chores. The problem was that he had no idea how it got there. He lived alone and he didn't remember writing it. And the handwriting wasn't his. He tried to ignore it, but 4 days later it happened again. Another post-it note appeared in the exact same place. Same handwriting, same desk. But this message was more urgent. He told him to make sure he saved his documents. That was the moment he started to panic. He wondered if someone was entering his home to leave notes.
You
To
didn't
catch
panic
the
after the
intruder,
first
he
note?
set up a webcam facing his desk. He thought the camera would record whoever was leaving.
Now,
the
this could be a
notes. few
demon.
quiet days
Or
passed.
it could be
Then
him
on
in his
April
sleep, or
28th,
it could
he
be
found
like
a
another
third
person.
note. It was the same handwriting, but this one was far more disturbing
What
than the
the
previous
fuck?
ones. It read, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." He was
What the
freaking out. He
fuck?
opened his computer to check the webcam recordings. To his
What
shock,
the
the folder
fuck?
was empty. To him, there was only one explanation. The
So-
intruder must
someone
have
really-
deleted the videos to hide their identity.
Or this dude
Now
is
he felt
sleepwalking.
certain that
That's
whoever was
also
coming
another,
into his home was
possibility.
dangerous. Soon, a fourth note appeared. This time, it was left outside his front door,
Oh
but
my
the
God.
note was blank. This convinced him that something was seriously wrong. He decided to investigate the handwriting himself. His first suspect was his landlord. He compared the notes to a letter his landlord gave him when he moved in. To him, the writing looked exactly the same.
The handwriting on the previous notes matched
Kinda
the
does.
handwriting on the letter. He was certain that it had to be so.
At this point, he was
Alright, there was
convinced
an
that
ad,
his
there was an ad, we
landlord had
back.
been sneaking into his apartment and leaving messages. But he wasn't sure what to do about it, so he turned to Reddit for advice. On May 1st, Bradbury shared his experience on a subreddit called Legal Advice. It's a place where people seek legal advice
So you're
from
getting
lawyers and
notes
experienced users.
from
He
your
explained the
landlord,
mysterious
potentially a
notes, living
demon,
situation,
and you're going to
handwriting
Reddit for
that matched
advice.
his
Alright, man.
landlord's. Then he asked what legal action he could take against
Legal
him.
action, brother, there's
However,
no
the
legal action.
response was not what he
This
expected.
could be
Many
way more than
Redditors
one
didn't
entity,
believe him.
like,
They
fucking-
thought he made up the story just to get attention. Despite their doubts, the story was too
Look, they
strange
don't
to
even
ignore.
believe
People
him, which
continued
they
to
shouldn't.
comment
This
and
dude's an
upvote.
idiot.
Soon his post climbed all the way
You don't
to
go to
Reddit's
Reddit
front
over shit like
page.
this. You
More
fucking handle
users
yourself
joined
like a
in the
man.
discussion. That was when a user named Kakerlak noticed an important piece of information. Months earlier, Bradbury mentioned that he slept in a room with no windows. It was one of his old Reddit comments. That single
shit.
detail sparked a completely different theory. One that
He's
would save
sleepwalking.
Bradbury's life. When
Because of
Kakerlak
the
learned that
windows.
Bradbury slept in a windowless room,
It's
he
so
suspected
predictable.
carbon monoxide
Yup,
poisoning.
bang, look, it's so predictable.
Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. It's indetectable to our senses.
Carbon monoxide is deadly. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. Without proper ventilation, the gas can build up without anyone realizing it. Breathing in carbon monoxide can cause
Damn,
memory
so-
loss,
so
confusion,
sleeping
and
without no
paranoia. If that
windows
was happening to him, it
will
would
turn you like
explain
this guy?
everything. Bradbury probably
Sleepwalking,
wrote
putting
post-it
notes and
notes
shit?
himself, but didn't remember doing so because of carbon monoxide poisoning. Kakerlak shared this
Damn.
theory online. Within a few hours, his comments got thousands of upvotes. Redditors begged Bradbury to check for carbon carbon monoxide right away, so he decided to test it. He
But what if my
installed a
windows are
carbon
closed?
monoxide monitor in his room. When he switched it on, it showed dangerously high levels of the gas. He started to believe that
so that's making
Caroline
it for
might be
guessing.
right. Maybe his
Yeah, that
landlord
makes sense.
wasn't sneaking into his apartment. Maybe it was just carbon monoxide messing with his head. He examined the post-it notes again. The handwriting no longer looked like his landlord's. It looked exactly like his own. The poisoning had confused him so much that he forgot what his own handwriting looked like. The one mystery remained. Who deleted the webcam footage?
He probably
checked the
deleted the
webcam
webcam,
more
so-
carefully. That's when he realized he never plugged it in.
Oh
There was
my
nothing
God,
to
what an
delete. The
idiot.
videos never existed in the
Wow.
first place. He returned to Reddit and posted an update. He explained
Alright,
everything.
you know what?
Thanked
We
the
can't call him an
community for
idiot, man,
helping him
because
find the
he
real
had like
danger.
carbon
If the
monoxide poisoning and that.
poisoning continued,
You can't
it could
predict
have
that, you know
ended
what I mean?
his life. It took about 20 years to solve this next tragic
20
mystery.
years?
The
Oh, no,
mystery
20
of
years
the
for this one?
nameless victim.
Let's see,
On
man.
June
We got a
26th,
lot of mysteries in this video,
1995,
huh?
someone reported a car crash in southeastern Virginia. Police arrived and found 2 victims. One was identified as
We might gotta
21-year-old
add this
Michael
channel
Hager.
to the watch
second
list.
was so badly injured that he couldn't be identified. Unfortunately, he had no ID, so police had no way to know who he was. But investigators did find one clue. Inside his pocket, they discovered tickets to a Grateful Dead concert. Grateful Dead was a popular rock band in the 90s. With no other information, police labeled the unknown victim as John Doe, which is the name used for unidentified
Where have
people.
I heard
For
that
nearly
name
20
before? I've
years,
heard
no
it
one knew
somewhere.
who he was. And then Redditors got involved. Around 2014, a woman named Layla Betts began investigating this story. She read police files and spoke with officers involved, but she found nothing new, so she turned to Reddit. Layla created a subreddit called Grateful Doe. Grateful Doe because the unidentified man had Grateful Dead concert tickets and no one knew his real name. Her first post was an Imgur summary of the case. She included every fact she could find, including a police reconstruction sketch. People across Reddit noticed. They joined the subreddit. They shared theories. Soon, thousands were working together to identify Grateful Doe.
The post went viral, and soon enough, she was in contact with the law enforcement and curious individuals who wanted to help.
Redditors shared the image everywhere. Forums, websites, social media. They hoped the right person would recognize him, and one day, someone did. In early January 2015, the moderator of the subreddit received a message. It was from a man named Steve. Steve said Grateful Doe looked like his old roommate, Jason. He hadn't seen Jason since 1995, and he couldn't remember Jason's last name, but he remembered something important. Jason was a huge Grateful Dead fan. To help the investigation, Steve sent photos of Jason. Those photos were posted on the Grateful Doe subreddit. The resemblance to the police sketch was clear.
The news of this man possibly
So
being
this is a
Grateful
murder
Doe
case?
spread very fast around the internet.
A few days later, someone else saw the photos. A woman in South Carolina. She recognized the face instantly. It was her son,
That's
Jason
what's up.
Callahan.
A 63-year-old Myrtle Beach woman says the Jason in the photos on Facebook is her son, Jason Callahan.
Jason went missing about 20 years earlier.
He left home in 1995 to follow the band Grateful Dead and hasn't been seen since.
Police ran DNA
fuck?
tests to be sure. The results
You ran away
confirmed
to
it. Jason
to
Callahan was
follow a
Grateful
band?
Doe. His family finally had answers. After nearly
And then
20
how did he
years,
die?
they laid his remains to rest. The case was closed, but the
Alright,
Grateful Doe
RIP.
subreddit didn't stop there. They found a new purpose, helping identify missing people worldwide. Since then, the community has helped solve multiple cold cases. And it all started because someone made a post on Reddit. The internet can be a dark place, but these stories remind us that it can also be a force for good. So the next time you're scrolling,
Alright,
ask
man.
yourself,
I think
am I
that's
part
it.
of the
Listen,
problem?
respect to this guy. We're gonna have to add him to the watch list, alright?